Hey friends! So, I just wanted to talk briefly about something. I saw the movie Love, Simon, and that wasn't like what prompted me to talk about this, but it reminded me that I have this as a video topic that I've been sitting on for a while. And it's like something that I think people wonder a lot when they want to make stories about LGBTQ people. I'm just going to specifically talk about comics and what I've seen in the comic world, but some of this relates to other things that aren't just related to comics and like illustration. People have a general question and that I've seen a lot and people ask a lot or wonder a lot, and the question is it okay for me to make an LGBTQ story like with LGBT characters if I am not part of the LGBT community? And my answer to that, and I think a lot of people's answer in the community, are that it really depends on your approach to it, because a lot of people, like particularly in comics, they will either sexualize LGBT people and don't really know what they're talking about, so that they end up perpetuating stereotypes. But I know there's a lot of people out there who have genuine interest in supporting LGBT people and would like to include representation of characters. And so I'd say if you would like to do that in your stories, I think it's refreshing and it adds a lot to the story. There's a lot more that you could talk about. There's a lot of different relationships you can have between characters, and it usually feels a lot more progressive and open and relates to a much larger amount of younger people. So if you're interested in that, please just do some research or talk to someone who is LGBT, but don't pressure anyone to give their story and like explain how it is for them. There's a lot of ways you can research on that. You can look up people's YouTube videos like talking about harassment that they faced or good things they've felt about coming out, or bad things and like common problems that LGBT people have. But even just having a character that might feel attracted to someone that isn't necessarily like stereotypical, like a cis male loves a cis woman, then that's good. The problem that I see a lot in comics, and this is what I mean by sexualizing, is that people have kind of adopted the term like boys love, and it's based off of originally Japanese manga. And in manga, boys love, that's how you say it in English, we're talking in English. Boys love basically is like really helping Japan feel more comfortable with the LGBT community. And I'm not speaking for Japan, I don't live there. I've looked at reports on that and people have said that, so that might not necessarily be true, but having representation does tend to make people more open. The problem with that is that once it has traveled across to different countries, I think it's interpreted in a way of where it just ends up being highly sexual and very inappropriate in my opinion, where it's just like very much so rape culture and just harassment, and it's perpetuating what's terrible about heterosexual, like abusive relationships, and copying and pasting it onto like same gender relationships. And while that does happen in like any type of relationship with any genders, it's not something that you would necessarily like to have representation for. And on top of that, I've noticed a lot of people posting warnings on their comics. Like, I have warnings on my comic because I talk about things that could be disturbing for people who have trauma and like severe types of depression and stuff, because my characters are trying to get better because of that, not because I would like to like show off that that's something that happened, but because they're trying to overcome struggles that they've had. I have to mention it. So I understand those types of warnings, and those are fine. Some people put warnings on their comics for nudity because certain countries don't like that and they will censor that, so if you put a warning on it, they're more likely to keep your comic up. But what is not okay, in my opinion, is when people put warnings saying, "Warning, this comic is gay," basically. And I've seen it a lot. I've seen it a lot on webtoons. There's not very many like same gender relationship comics that I see that don't have that. And people might think it's a harmless thing, or like, oh, I'm just like fending off people who don't like it, or, you know, I'm just doing this for fun, I'm making a comic. If you're making a story with that, you're not accepting your characters even. If you can't accept a fictional character, you shouldn't be writing it. Like, if you can't accept a fictional character, you can't accept actual people who are like that. And if actual people are like these things, fiction is powerful, and if people think that that's still something to be ashamed of or something to fetishize and think of as like people as objects, then it's not okay to have those warnings. It's not okay to think like it's still shameful, but I'm still gonna write about it. Like, I don't think that is proper representation. People are still going to do what they want, of course, but that is what I'd have to say. If you're not doing that, I'm pretty sure that any type of LGBT representation that you've done proper research on, and if you're feeling compassionate about the community, is good representation. Of course, people misconstrue things and stereotype things, but if you treat your LGBT characters like any other human, then that is the first and foremost most important thing to do. So I hope that explains some things, and what I think about people in the community, like, who, in my opinion, if they're ashamed of those things, I don't think, like, I can probably safely assume they're not part of the LGBT community. So yeah, watch out for that, by the way. I don't like reading those things, I don't know. I hope you're having a good day. I'm really excited about all the new things that are coming out. Like, even Black Panther, it doesn't have to do with the LGBT community, but like, not having just cis heterosexual white people on screen all the time is amazing. And like, I don't even like seeing that as a white person. I don't appreciate that. I like seeing like all types of people. I have all types of friends. I don't just have white friends, and I don't know, so I think everyone should. That's the whole point. So I appreciate representation, and I know so many of us do. I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye.